Good afternoon, YouTube. What's going on? Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna try and keep this quick, although I always say that, and it's never really all that quick, I don't think. But today I just wanted to talk quickly about Litecoin because of the craziness that I woke up to this morning, and that I think a lot of us woke up to this morning, at least if you're in the US. You could see it in the chart right here. This has been an incredible rise today. TradingView has it hitting a high of, I believe, 349, give or take. Yeah, about 348. Although on GDAX it did hit 420 just about. I could show that to you here. You can see right about there, around 9 a.m. this morning, it did hit 420 very briefly, and then came back down and normalized around the 370 mark, which is where we've kind of been recently. And by recently, I mean since the high. But if you're talking about more broadly recently, this is not normal, not at all. In fact, I have the chart here going back quite a ways, November, October. This is this is normal. This is what normal has been for Litecoin. Very small increases and drops, and just, I mean, it's been steady basically. I mean, if you look, it's been pretty much holding around 50 for a long time, and then it crept up into the mid 60s and then back down into the low 50s, hovering around 60 for a while. And then again getting up a little bit, down, and now we see this very slow build starting here, right? Just kind of creeping up into the 70s, 80s, finally hit 100, dropped down back to 80-ish, came back up around 100, and it hovered at 100 for a few days. This is where I got in on the 6th, I believe, at $100 flat. I managed to pick up a few Litecoin for $100 each. I saw it drop a little bit, and then this happened, and this is what I woke up to this morning. I got a text message from a friend saying, bro, check your Litecoin. And I did, and I was like, wow. By the time I actually opened up my app on my phone, it had already gotten back down to around 390, 380. Had I caught it at 420, I probably would have sold, or at least sold a big chunk of it, but I didn't. I did put a stop loss order at 350, which it did hit very briefly, so it did trigger the stop loss order, but I ended up buying back in pretty fast after, once I realized that it wasn't going to continue to be a downward trend, at least right away. Now, one thing that I noticed, or that I thought I would notice, I should say, I expected, because there wasn't any really big news around Litecoin, right? Didn't seem like there was a reason for this to happen. So I figured there had to be some reason that all this capital was flowing into Litecoin at this specific time period, which basically has been from December 11th, which is yesterday. I'm going to ignore this because this was modest, even though it, $50 is a big jump for Litecoin. That's a 50% increase. I'm way more focused on this, this curve here. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting used to TradingView. I've not been using it all that long. This is what I think it is. Yes. So I mean, this jump right there is really what I'm focused on. This doesn't, I mean, it's interesting, sure, and yeah, I'll take a 50% return on my money any day, because remember, I did buy in right here at 100. So when it hit 150 right here, that I could have cashed out. That would have been a 50% return, and I would have been happy, and I was happy when I saw those numbers, but not enough to get me out. And I'm glad I didn't, because I saw massive returns here. How do I get rid of that? But what I expected to see was a drop in Ethereum and Bitcoin, because I figured a sell-off in Ethereum or Bitcoin could result in people taking those funds and putting them in here while they waited for those currencies to recover. But what I saw was very interesting. So the main thing we're looking at here is between the 11th of December and now, right? This region right here. So if we go over to Ethereum and look at between the 11th and now, what do we see? We see another massive increase, right? Let's go over to Bitcoin. Same deal. Let's look at the 11th to now. And I don't know about you, but I see increases. I'm gonna just zoom in on that for you. I see increases. I see that on the 11th, it was at a low, and it jacked up from, what is that, 14, call it 14.2. And before, you know, the start of the 12th, before midnight, it was at 17.2. That's a, you know, a $3,000 jump, which is great, especially because a large portion of my crypto portfolio is in Bitcoin, so I'm not complaining about that at all. And we're now seeing this retracement kind of going steadily up, although I do see this low here very close to the previous low. You can probably see it a little bit better if I get rid of the triangle. I could see, or rectangle. I can see, so if you look at this retracement here, and then from there it goes back down. Now I'm wondering if it's gonna be able to beat this high and come here and continue this, right? Or if instead we're gonna see something more like this and start a downward trend. I don't really know. It does seem to me like, let me just verify this. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like this could be a level of resistance here. This general like 17,000 range. You know, we have broken through it before, but just not very often, and this seems to have been acting as a resistance lately. But anyway, that's not the focus of the video. The point is that I saw this big jump, right, in the same time period, this December 11th to now time period, and I saw it on Bitcoin, I saw it on Ethereum, and I now see it on Litecoin, which does get me thinking. And I kind of Googled around looking to see if anybody else had an explanation for why the sudden increase in Litecoin. I didn't really find much, but there is some news about crypto in general that I think is interesting, that I do want to share quickly. The first is that President Trump has signed the new defense bill, and part of that bill is authorizing studying blockchain by the federal government. So we're going to now see the federal government investing in investigating blockchain technology to use presumably within the military and other federal institutions, which will be really, really interesting, because I think the future of a lot of industries are in blockchain. Obviously finance, but I think there's applications for medical as well. Anything that involves significant transfers of information at high speeds, I think is going to be heavily utilized by blockchain in the future. One of my friends said that he thinks in the future we could see the medical field benefit by having insurance companies be able to pay doctors through blockchain, pay hospitals, pharmacies, things like that. So there's no waiting for, or at least minimal waiting for, approvals and things to transfer. It could be done very, very quickly using the blockchain. So that's definitely interesting. Another thing I saw was this. I experienced for myself. I didn't need an article to tell me this, that Coinbase halted trading of Litecoin and Ethereum because of these price spikes that we see here. That apparently there were too many requests, too many users trying to do it, and their systems couldn't handle it, and it got shut down temporarily. They call it degraded performance or a partial outage, but whatever they call it, the issue was that people couldn't buy and sell, which is an issue when you see something like this and you want to get out of it. Again, I was sleeping until it hit its high, at least on GDAX, which doesn't show here, but it hit a high of right about here. And had I been awake, I probably would have sold and bought back in when it came down to kind of around where it is now, which on GDAX is 372. So like I said, I can show you this on GDAX since TradingView doesn't do it. We've kind of been hovering here for a little bit since 11:30. It's been fairly standard, or steady, I should say. We did have a little bit of a drop down into the low threes, but it came back really, really quick. It didn't even close out over there. The lowest closing was 331, and then it just kind of has been hovering here, and it is slowly going back up. When are we going to see 400 again on GDAX? I don't really know. But I mean, it would be great to see by the end of the day. It would be great to see tomorrow, anytime when I'm not sleeping, so I can take advantage of it. That's pretty much all I have today. If you have any questions or have any suggestions for future videos, please comment. Feel free to leave comments down below. And if you liked the video, if it was informative, if it helped you at all, or if it just gave you food for thought, just hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated, and subscribe as well if you like my videos and are looking forward to more. Again, if there's anything you'd like to see me do videos on going forward, I'm happy to take suggestions. In fact, doing a Litecoin video was a suggestion on a previous video that somebody left in the comments, so I made this. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being supportive here, and I will see you guys all soon. Have a great day, and keep stacking it.